Jack Eichel finishes fifth in the Selke Trophy balloting. Will he ever win that trophy? Coming up next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone, from Las Vegas. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. I am a longtime sportscaster, a marketing consultant, host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and the collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Now, coming up ahead on today's show, in addition to our top story of Eichel finishing fifth in the Selke voting and Marner seventh, we missed Marner Monday. Tavares Tuesday on the way. Stanley Cup props we'll have. And then, of course, the Stars players unhappy with the former VGK head coach, Pete DeBoer. But first, the Selke Award for the best defensive forward goes to Alexander Barkov, second season in a row. VGK's Jack Eichel finishing in fifth in the balloting, and it was done by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Eichel receiving 5 first-place votes. He finished behind Florida teammates Barkov and Reinhart, Chris. And then it was Anthony Cirelli of Tampa, Nico Hischier of New Jersey, and Eichel had the best NHL season of his career with 94 points. He plays both on the offensive and defensive ends. As we know, Barkov was on the ice just 36% of the time in the defensive zone, which I thought was a pretty big statistic there. But we both know the statistic that could keep Eichel from further winning the Selke Award. Face-offs. He just cannot get it right on the dot.
45.6% in the dot this season, 45.5 in 23-24. Comparing to your winner, Alex Barkov, I mean, that's what the standard is, right? Barkov, 67 games, 71 points, and 56.5% in the faceoff circle. So that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Barkov is going to be that name that just gets mentioned for a while no matter what, and Barkov has earned it. The one name that gets me on this list that I don't understand why they would be above Eichel or Cirelli, for that matter, is Sam Reinhart's. The Sam Reinhart was 41.2% in the dot. He took 300 faceoffs, so it's not like he took 4 faceoffs and, that was all she wrote right there. 79 points, 81 games for Reinhart. So, I mean, the offensive metrics are fine, but the faceoff metrics, and he was 44.2 the year before and then 50%, so definitely fallen off in the circle. But back to Jack's game, I mean, his growth is phenomenal. I haven't looked. I'll see if I can find out how high he was for the Selke in previous years. But awesome to see Jack Eichel moving up in that regard, and he's probably 4 or 5% away in the faceoff dot from being a finalist in that category.
Yeah, and something that I really took notice of was Jack Eichel in the faceoff circle in the playoffs. 32 faceoffs in Game 2 of the Oilers series, 117, 32 times. Overall in the playoffs, he was 90 for 282. And I had to look it up. That's over 11 games. Why was he in the faceoff circle so frequently? Here's a guy chasing around Connor McDavid, playing on special teams, a two-way player. Why was he taking so many faceoffs in the playoffs? It's something that, as I was watching, I remember Game 2 of the Oilers series. Why would he be in the faceoff circle 32 times? And, of course, the guy was worn out. He did everything.
This is one of the reasons in the first round why William Karlsson was put on the same line with Jack Eichel. William Karlsson, 58.1% in the circle last season, 56.2, 55.3. Karlsson actually had some Selke votes twice in his career, 3 times in his career. This was the first time Jack Eichel had any Selke votes as well, as far as getting to where he did. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard enough chasing around McDavid and Boldy and Kaprizov and Draisaitl. And then you got to
Unreal.
focus on winning the faceoffs and everything too. So yeah, at some point we got to hit where Mitch Marner finished on this too, because I thought that was incredibly interesting.
Okay. So Marner finished. It's not Marner Monday anymore. It is Tavares Tuesday, and Marner finished.
Someone said
seventh.
Tuck Tuesday on YouTube. I thought that was good.
Tuck Tuesday. That's a good one. Marner, by the way, just 29% in the faceoff circle.
Yeah, but would he take 12 faceoffs all year?
If he's on a line with Jack Eichel, Eichel's gonna double the amount of faceoffs he's gonna have to take.
Yeah, I joked. Mitch Marner literally took 34 faceoffs last year. So don't worry about it.
Seriously, was that? I saw 29%. That was it.
So,
wow.
But, I mean, learning a lot about Marner. I know we're hitting Marner pretty hard right now, but I didn't know Marner had that in him right now. I didn't know Marner was that strong of a two-way player. Yes, Mitch Marner is a strong two-way player, and let's talk a little more. Marner has had Selke consideration every season dating back to 2018, 2019. So, I put a tweet out there kind of poking the bear a little bit, but some misconceptions about Marner come as far as Vegas Golden Knight fans are concerned. One, he's a good two-way player, 7th in the Selke. That's pretty good. Number 2, he does have playoff success, 70.63 games. Now, there was someone that I really appreciate. I don't have their name. If I can find this tweet inside of a couple seconds, I will. But they talked about, they dug a little deeper into Marner as far as where had Sam Bennett to Friday's show. Twitter is great right now. Talked about where Mitch Marner is when it comes to, let's see here. I got to find
where
it.
Are we going? Where are we going? Okay.
Light down right
VGK's, while you're looking up stuff here live in real time, VGK's Mark Stone finished up there 19th. At least got some consideration. And we know what he does every night. And he just does it on grit pretty much and playing on both ends of the ice.
100%. Let me see here. I wanted to find this Marner stuff right here.
What are you
driving me nuts?
It's
driving me nuts, man. Where did it go here?
All right,
but basically, it's talking about games 4 points. Okay, in games 4 through 7, he basically becomes a ghost in the playoffs, and there's a lot of stats to support that right now. So it's a great perspective that someone did offer on Twitter, and that's where you hope that coaching can help that situation over there, because you look at Jack Eichel, right? Jack Eichel, all these terrible narratives before he got to Vegas and everything. And he earned some of those stripes the way he handled himself in Buffalo. There's nothing wrong with that. He's a kid, whatever. But you look at what Marner has done. You look at the fact that Marner probably hasn't hit his max potential. If anyone wants to question that, well, the Leafs are kind of a dumpster fire when it comes to success in the playoffs and how long it's been since they won a Stanley Cup and all of that. So maybe getting Marner away from that circumstance, getting him in a stronger locker room. Yes, a stronger locker room with a better coach, I'll say that too, could certainly help.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just curious again. We've touched on this a little bit. What Bruce Cassidy will do with the game of Jack Eichel. Will he make adjustments there as the philosophy changes? They try to become more offensive. Does he give up some of his defensive game? I think that's a big question that's looming heading into this next season.
You start making players what they're not, and now their whole game is going to suffer. You look at Jack Eichel, he's a 100-point player, pace at least. He's a great two-way player. He just finished 5th overall in the Selke, and only because of his not doing a good job in the face-off circle. So, but the thing is, again, we had this we laugh about it, but the truth is he does take a lot of shots on goal. So he is maybe, has that selfish instinct in him to become a goal scorer as well. So I don't think you mess with Eichel's game. I mean,
no, you think it's just going to stay the same?
I think maybe you tweak the system a little bit, but as far as
tweak the system, he's going to have to be. He doesn't have to give up the puck as much. He's going to have to.
No, and that's fair. I mean, who are his line mates too? That's the other thing. You put him out there with Dorofeev, who's a finisher. Marner could be a great idea too, but now your issue with Marner is you got 2 real good pass first players. So, you have a line of Eichel, Dorofeev, and whoever at that point. And then your second line, you have like a Hurdle and a Mitch Marner out there, and then third, like a Barbashev or something like that. That's the options that a player like Mitch Marner would give you. It would give you plenty to work with in the top 6, but a little compromise in the top 9 overall.
Coming up next, we've got Stanley Cup props. We'll talk about that and give you some insight into what we think. Next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Are you looking for a snack that is both delicious and nutritious? Are you looking for anything like Golic there, wasting some time on our show today?
And then the light doing everything wrong today.
Okay. And we're on the wrong side of the screens here. It's all good. Crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios, one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they are packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. And Chris and I both in agreement on one thing we both absolutely love. Of course, wonderful pistachios, but we like the no shells variety. Perfect grab and go snack for the busy days. Today's going to be a whirlwind for me. I'm sure the same for you. Golic with all those live streams and stuff. And of course, for the satisfying crack, you can open up each shell if you like the shell variety, and it is like snack mediation. So whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, wonderful pistachios, that's the way to go. It is the snack that works as hard as you do. Get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com. Get cracking, Vegas. Go to wonderfulpistachios.com. Welcome back on this edition. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golic reporting from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. I went out to F1X last night over at the paddock there for Formula One, and I was doing fine there. I get claustrophobic, right, on the go-kart track with the helmet.
Was it
my
rigged?
Head? I told you that I have such a huge head. At least I didn't finish last there, but I got spun out once. And then somebody hit me from behind. That was really good for the back. That was wonderful. It was wonderful. Double XL for the helmet, bro. Double XL. You say I have a big head.
Quadruple XL for the ego, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, a little tight today. Welcome back to the show. That's right. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golic. FanDuel prop bets we've got. So leading goal scorer, let's start there. Draisaitl is the favorite, plus 280. McDavid plus 460. I know he didn't score a lot of goals, but he really wants this cup, so he might be more aggressive. Sam Reinhart plus 950. Matthew Tkachuk plus 1,000. Carter Verhaeghe just scores big goals, but doesn't score like a ton of them, I don't think. Plus 1,200. And Barkov plus 1,300. Anything stand out for you in that regard?
I'll start with my standard. Instead of taking a side, I will take Edmonton minus a game and a half at plus 164.
For them to win over a game and a half?
Minus 1.5. So basically, they have to win the series 4-2 or better. They have to win the series 4-2 or 4-1 or 4-0.
Oh, okay.
It can't. Edmonton has to win the series in less than 7 games. That's a quick way to say that.
Okay, that's a good one.
I like the game 1 outcome with the series parlay. I pegged this in the last series. I'm going to double down with it again. I think Edmonton's got a ton of pressure coming into game 1, being at home. All the media stuff, the pressure of Canada. I think game 1 is just going. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers, I don't know if blowout's the word I'm going to use, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a 4-2, 5-1 type of finish or something.
And of course,
like
Stuart Skinner gives up like 100 goals.
Exactly. So give me Florida winning game 1, but Edmonton coming back to win the series at plus 420. I like those. I got a couple more, but we'll see what you got.
Okay. I'm going to take the over on total hat tricks. Over a half at plus 168.
That's fun.
Somebody's going to get that empty netter for goal number 3. The over plus 168 on FanDuel, under minus 230. Another one that I like here, Golic, you'll like this one. It's like the grand salami, right? Total goals in the series. Let
me handicap it first in my head. I'm going to say 35 and a hook.
It is 35 and a hook. Exactly.
Wow. That was
It's
good. I have
35
not
and a
looked
hook.
at that. I swear to God. That's
You're
awesome.
still looking up Marner stuff, so I trust you. I believe.
No. Yeah, I'm stuck on. I got Marner screensaver popping.
Total
over.
goals. Good job, Golick. 35 and a hook. I like the over there, but I also might take a flyer, not a Philadelphia one, but a flyer on 50 plus goals at plus 1260.
Interesting. So, really fast, guys, we talked in the last series about kind of letting the sports book take you down the path sometimes of what the book thinks is going to happen. Why is the over-under for total goals 35 and a half? 6-game series, six goals a series. Pretty
They
easy.
owe us 6 games.
They owe us 6 games. 6 games a series, 6 goals per, that's 36. That's why that number is 35 and a half. So the path I'm taking you down, this is where you got to do some shopping if you're betting. If you think this series is going to go 6 games, like exactly 6 games,
It's rigged.
that pays you plus 200 on FanDuel. But
Okay.
if you bet the Panthers to win 4-2, that pays plus 490. If you bet the Oilers to win 4-2, that also pays plus 490. So instead of getting plus 200 for either team winning in 6, if you make both of those bets separately, you're actually getting yourself plus 245. So that's just one of those things you can kind of find within the sports books to give yourselves a better chance to extend your bankroll a little bit. I like the McDavid special. That's to break Wayne Gretzky's Stanley Cup Final points total of 14. That'll get you plus 610. And then the last one that stands out to me is the position of the Conn Smythe winner. And the goaltending position is plus 270. So we've talked about Stuart Skinner. He's still like plus 5,000 right now. Bobrovsky is significantly lower, and you never know. So if you go for the position for the Conn Smythe at the goalie, you get plus 270 if Bobrovsky or Stuart Skinner, or if Pickard comes back, I guess, I don't think is happening.
They also have the prices up for 25-26, and VGK is 6th at plus 1,200. Carolina, once again, is the favorite. And just seeing some of those rumors that they want to get a lot beefier here in the offseason. And Marner's still in the sweepstakes there, which to me is a little bit of a
Marner's
surprise.
not going to Carolina.
I don't think so either.
Off very easily.
Okay, I don't think so either. Most points in this Cup series. So we had Draisaitl most goals, most points. McDavid plus 125, Draisaitl plus 260. If you believe that Draisaitl will have the most goals, then why not take him for most points too at plus 260?
Because McDavid will have 2-1 in the assists.
Yeah, probably. Kachuk plus 1,000, Barkov plus 1,200, Reinhart plus 1,400, Bouchard plus 1,600.
Couple of more interesting ones. You got goalie saves every game.
Isn't the first game 25 and a hook though? For
Well, no, you can no. So they go on this one. There's different levels you can do, and it's any goaltend. It's Stuart Skinner plus 15 or more saves every game. Bobrovsky 15 or more. Those are minus 220 and minus 210. The one that I kind of like, if you go Stuart Skinner and Bobrovsky both 20 plus saves every game. Basically, what you're saying is, are either team going to average 23 to 25 shots every game in this series? And I know it just takes one to blow the bet, but it feels like if you're going to take that shot at plus 200, plus 240, that's interesting. Huge jump in the odds. If you want to just have a little fun here, you bet both goalies 25 plus saves per game. Both of those pay plus 2,400, so 240 to 1. No, 24 to 1 on both of those. 24 to 1 on both of those. So you can have a little fun with that.
So what do we have on a series price currently? It's still
the series price according
128, 127,
minus 128 Edmonton plus 106. Money has come in on the Edmonton side, by the way.
Of course.
This was closer.
Home ice advantage. Closer. Home ice advantage. The whole key here is to get that
home ice and market. It's market
all the way
market,
all the way back to Edmonton, right?
It's the Dallas Cowboys of NHL as far as betting goes.
If Edmonton goes up 2-0, it might be over if they do. if they can sweep it home early, it could be over.
I'll
I
give
don't.
Florida more credit than that.
I don't see, and I don't see Florida there having a 3-0 lead and then surrendering that this year with this team. Don't. Coming up next, star players unhappy with Pete DeBoer. Go figure. Back with more right after this on Lockdown Golden Knights. Welcome back, Lockdown Golden Knights from Las Vegas. And don't forget, Fridays, WTF Day, Saturdays. Sometimes it is the Chris Times Chris Jr. show. And tomorrow we have a double dip. We've got a double header. We'll do our normal show, and that'll be up early before 7
Probably going to record
a.m.
that tonight, I think, right? Maybe.
Perhaps, could happen. And then, of course, we will have our special show. If you have any questions for Kyle Stitch there of AFP Analytics, he'll be our guest tomorrow. We'll talk about projected salaries and a lot more, I'm sure, with Kyle. So looking forward to that big show, and that will be released approximately 12:01 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. And a hook. So Pete DeBoer falling out of favor in Dallas not only continues to get the backlash for pulling Jake Ottinger 7:09 into that first period in the elimination loss to the Oilers, but also piling on afterward, I think really has really hurt his cause, where he said that you can't blame it all on Ottinger, and then he throws him under the bus right after that. Gave up 2 goals on 2 shots, lost 6 of 7 against the Oilers. And Ottinger on locker cleanout day did take the high road. David Pagnotta reported yesterday, said that the players are not happy with the way DeBoer handled several situations in the Western Conference Final. And this is a situation for Pete DeBoer. He has 1 year remaining on his contract. I think it's curtains, personally. What are your thoughts, Golick?
I mean, it's so difficult because how could you fire a coach who's been in the Western Conference Final, 6 of the last 8 years or
and
something
he's lost them all
like that? Yeah, that's the thing. But I mean, he's right there. I mean, listen, if the Panthers gave up on Paul Maurice, they're not talking about this destiny right now. So it's winning a Stanley Cup. I mean, I know it's as cliche as it gets, but it's the toughest trophy in the world to win. And it's the coach is a tremendous part of that, as we're learning in Dallas right now. But back to Pete DeBoer here, Pete DeBoer, he's the players' coach. Everyone's happy to see him, and he takes a little better care of the stars. Maybe that no pun intended, with the star players. There you go, the star players than maybe some other younger coaches might. And so now DeBoer makes the move, right? He makes the move. He makes the big goalie change. He was obviously doing other things, trying to find a path to victory in the West. And all of a sudden now he's heel. He's Hollywood Hogan after when he joined the NWO right there, and just it happened in a single night. And you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, right, on DeBoer's side. If he just status quo, okay, well, Ottinger will start making the saves and everything. Now it's 3-0. Now it's 4-0 all of a sudden. Or if he doesn't make any moves, I'm not sure what the other moves are that they're referring to, but I guess there's other things that happened. What's he going to do? Just sit still and hope it corrects itself? Or is he going to do something? DeBoer tried to make the move. He tried to make the move. He pulled his goalie. He did other things apparently that pissed off the locker room. But you know what? He did not just sit still. So I do wonder how there'll be at some point, if it hasn't happened already, he will have to explain himself to his general manager, his president, and or the owner, depending on how hands-on the owner is of the Dallas Stars. And they'll make their decision. I don't think it's curtains for DeBoer. I don't see how you move on from that circumstance. And maybe there's some off-season bonding that needs to happen. Maybe they'll go somewhere
to the sphere.
They'll go to the sphere, right? And they'll catch a Grateful Dead show, and everything will be fine.
So I feel I'm going to go counter to what you're saying, because I feel that once you lose the locker room, there's no way he's getting it back. And once again, exit interviews and goaltending decisions due in Pete DeBoer. I think he's done. Personally, you can't win that locker room back. There's no way. And Ottinger, boy, kudos to him for taking the high road on locker cleanout day.
There was a tough video to watch. It's like a terrible video or anything like that, but it was when the players were coming back between the first and second intermission in Game 5. You have Ottinger on the bench, and all the way it works in Dallas, all the players have to walk by the locker room, including the coaching staff. And
Right.
Ottinger high-fived everybody. He had his hand out for everybody. For whatever reason, him and DeBoer did not exchange a high five, but all the assistant coaches did give Ottinger a high five. So, again, I don't know if we're reading too much into that or not, but there's some trouble. But if I'm DeBoer, I think the only thing DeBoer has left right now is to stand tall and say, listen, team was struggling. Ottinger had a poor record against the Oilers. Unfortunately, he couldn't get a couple of big saves early, so we had to make a move. Here's why I did it, because I think if DeBoer walks it back and says that's the wrong thing, I think that's worse. I think DeBoer would need to fight for his decision and say, listen, we had to do something. This is
Just
the move that
again,
I made.
to wake up the team. Yes, we need to do something, but to say he's lost 5 of 6, to the Oilers, or 6 of 7, or whatever that number was, and then to just go, 2 goals. No, you don't need to do that, Pete. Do you think he's more hungover?
I do agree. That presser was bad. I
think he's more
100%
hungover? You think he's more hungover these last couple of days than he was during All-Star weekend? You think maybe perhaps?
I mean, listen,
Boy, that was a jump show.
It's a tough gig, and if he had a couple of nights to wash away things,
what's the over under on De Beers for DeBoer?
I think he's more. I mean, I know he's had some beers like in the locker room and stuff. I think he's more
beers.
I think he's more of a harder whiskey.
He's like
type
a
of
cognac guy.
A couple times I saw him, he was a harder, single drink type of guy, that more of a conversation piece than pounding Bud Light after Bud Light after Bud Light and wearing the helmet with the 2 beer thing, the 2 straws coming out of it. He's not that guy.
I'm going to go back to March the 21st.
Here we go.
When DeBoer leaves the podium after just a minute 34 storms off. Remember, they were playing Tampa and he wasn't happy. And someone was saying that whoever the player was on the 4th line, a rookie or a younger player, was the best player. And he goes, yeah, what does that tell you? And then he storms off the podium. And that,
Rod
from that point
did the
on,
same thing.
he's just been ripping the team though late. And he might be time to go for Pete.
This is going down, if we're going to compare it to a homegrown scenario. This is similar to Coach Cassidy's exit in Boston. Coach Cassidy had a much rougher edge to him, at least as far as the media was concerned, the way he handled the players. You can go back to a series of post-game pressers where he was calling individual players out by name. And, instead of saying our star players need to be better, Brad Marchand needed to be better, Pasta needed to be better, Berger,
Right.
Stuff like that. And Cassidy comes to Vegas, he dulls that sword. I wrote a ton about the issues he had in Boston and possibly why. Because, again, playoffs every single year under Cassidy. Playoffs every single year. Stanley Cup contender multiple times. And unfortunately, that wasn't good enough. So maybe those paths are similar. And maybe it is time for DeBoer to take, what he learned about his time in Dallas and take a page out of Cassidy's book. You can still be the tough coach. You can still be hard-nosed. You can still make big moves. Not Cassidy. I don't think Cassidy's a player's coach. And maybe DeBoer needs to get away from that a little bit. Maybe that transition's already started. What team could it be for? Well, there's a million coaching vacancies. A million teams would love to have Coach DeBoer.
Mishka Donskov is apparently a finalist there in Boston. Mr. Future Endeavors.
Did they hire a coach already or no?
No, I don't think so. Did they? I don't think they have.
Real time.
And I have DeBoer. I have DeBoer minus 270 out the door, gone. I'm going to say, how would you weigh in on the line?
No new Bruins coach, number 1, it looks like. And number 2, if I'm going to handicap it, I think it's close. I think the odds that he is gone, it's probably more of a plus, honestly.
You'll take the plus side. I will not. I'm going to go.
I will say the odds that he's gone is about plus 130. He's minus 110 that he's staying, which is still not a
minus
good spot
270 that he's gone on my line. We appreciate everyone tuning in.
Shop those lines, folks. Shop those lines, like I said earlier.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Please make sure tomorrow we'll have our regular show, which will be posted in the morning by around 7 a.m. in the Pacific time zone. And then in the afternoon, we will have that special that we will have with AFP and Kyle Stitch. And we look forward to that, talking about projected contracts. If you have any questions, find us on the X. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco.
Our names are
Thanks
on the
so
right
much.
place. It's fine.
Okay. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow. There we go. Right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care.